Hello everyone, John Reuter here for New55, and today we're going to scan the New55 negative using the Epson Perfection V800 scanner and the Epson software. Once we open the Epson software, we should check on the configuration first. And here I would recommend turning off continuous auto exposure so you can make your settings yourself. And also check some of these other adjustments. If unsharp mask is selected, deselect it now. If we're going to sharpen, we're going to do that later. For our bit depth, I would recommend 16-bit grayscale. Some people advocate shooting in color or scanning in color and then using the green channel, but let's keep it simple and we'll just do grayscale today. As far as resolution is concerned, I'm going to choose 2400. Even though the optical resolution is 4800, many people feel 24 is really the maximum resolution. Then we'll also choose original for our output size, and then once we do our initial scan for the preview, we can go ahead and set those dimensions. Once the preview is in and we choose normal, we can determine our crop by drawing the marquee, and then we're going to click on zoom so we can get a little bit bigger view of the image, make it fill the screen better. And here we can double check our crop edges. Very important to not have any white area in there, so it's not included in the histogram. Okay, now let's click on our histogram. And these are the settings from a previous scan, so we're going to adjust these. The first thing I want to do is take the output settings to 0 on the shadow side and 255 on the highlight side. We don't need any compression going on there. I'm going to play around with my shadow slider and also my highlight slider, putting them to the end of the histogram, and then for the middle gamma I'm going to set that at 1.0. As an alternate, you can use the black and white eyedroppers and go into your image and select your black point and white point there. Let's click on a dark area in the image here. This is on black velvet. It should be pretty dark, but surprisingly it comes in at 42, so we're going to adjust that a little bit later. Let's see how the highlight does. We'll click on a known light area, the edge of the flower right here, and you see it brightens up a little bit as we click there. So that gives us a 210. And before we scan, I'm going to set that back to 20, put it back at the end of the histogram. And on the highlight side, I'm just going to boost this up to 215, give me a little bit more information there. Doing a final check, middle gamma at 1, and finally we hit scan. Dialog box comes up. We want to title this, choose a destination. And for our file format, we don't have a lot of options here. It really comes down to JPEG and TIFF. We're going to choose TIFF. And of course, that'll also be uncompressed. Now we hit scan. And after several minutes, the scan will be finished, and we can open it in Photoshop. Okay, and now here we are in Photoshop. We're going to be working in the Camera Raw dialog box first. And the first thing I'm going to do is adjust my exposure slightly. I'm going to move that to the right to brighten up the image. And we'll also check our shadows to see if we can pull a little bit more detail out of those shadow areas. And moving it to the right does just that. So I'm going to zoom in now, kind of take a good look at the highlights there, see if we can pull any more detail. We're pulling pretty good detail out of these highlights. Let's just look at the highlight slider, and let's bring that to the left just a little bit. And then finally we're going to adjust the clarity, which is the midtone contrast, which will give the image a little bit more pop. So this was a pretty good scan, not too much to really do with it in Photoshop. So let's open it now into the Photoshop proper. And here we can adjust some of the little dust areas that we might have to address. I'm going to use the spot healing brush to take care of these. And with just a small brush, I'm going to click around and The amazing healing brush kind of does the rest for us there. And once we've taken care of the minor retouching, we're pretty much done. So it would be on to printing, which we'll take care of next time, next tutorial.